Do we want character creation? Maybe. I think I want some kind of character creation, and I would like to include maybe like a limited character creation. But what I would for sure like to do is I would like to include gender in that. In the sense that you can choose to play as a male, female, or non-binary. Because I think not only is it, just nice to be inclusive in that regard, I think it's also, it helps the gaming experience if, like, the easier it is for you to identify with the main character or the character that you're supposed to be, that is you, the easier it is to identify yourself with your character. I think the easier it is to immerse yourself in this world. If you have a lot in common with, I think the more you have in common with a character, the easier it gets for you to have some kind of emotional resonance with the character that you're supposed to be. And that helps your immersion. And I think that if you're non-binary, like, we live in a world where subconsciously, I'm kind of thinking, how do I want to phrase this? We live in a world that's sadly not arranged. It doesn't take non-binary people into account, for the most part. I just filled in some government paperwork earlier, and one of the first things they ask is, it says gender, man or woman. Those were my options, right? I identify as a man, I am a man. So for me, that's no problem. But I can imagine that if you're non-binary, you are confronted with the fact that the world doesn't take your gender into account on a very regular basis. You have these, like, almost microaggressions, right, on a very I would imagine on a very frequent basis, like filling out government paperwork and being forced to choose man or woman. So then it becomes like almost let me fix my hair. So then it becomes almost a like, it becomes a big factor, right? For me, like, I'm not consciously busy with my gender that much because I'm not forced to be busy with it. Because my ID card says man, and I am a man, so I don't pay that any attention, right? But if you don't identify as a woman or a man, but something else, and you have to deal with stuff like that, like every time. What the hell's going on here? Like every time um, you have to show your ID card, you're confronted by the fact that it displays a gender that you don't identify as. That's annoying. And I think if we can at least take that annoyance away from the game, and it allows you to put a label on the gender that you're comfortable with, then at least that's not going to take you out of the gameplay experience, right? So if you don't identify as non-binary, and you're forced to choose between, are you a male or a female character, that might take you out of the experience. Like you're neither. Right? Does that make sense? It does to me. Like, it's if I were to play a game, and this is not to trivialize gender issues. If I were to play a game, and it asks me, okay, what's your name? Stefan. Are you a pineapple or a strawberry? Then I'd be like, what? What do you mean? Well, it's gonna say on your ID card, like on your stat screen, you know, Stefan, pineapple or strawberry. You're like, what? That doesn't make sense. That's weird. I'm neither. And that would take me out of the experience. Because I can't identify with being a pineapple or a strawberry. So I don't have a connection with either of them. And I think for non-binary people, it's the same. If you're forced to choose between being a man or a woman, and you think, well, I'm neither, so there's no, you know, it doesn't resonate. So I would like to very much at least remove that. At the very least, allowing free choice of gender, including non-binary.